We want to go through in introductions, or are we just doing the sign-in portion?
I think we can move forward with just the sign-in.
Okay. And again, it is this meeting is being recorded for future reference and broadcast. Again, my name is Greg Snow, and welcome. We'll move right into the meeting minutes and getting a recommendation for approval from our September 26th, 2024 meeting. I'd like to entertain a motion, please. And that could be from any member of the SHACAP group.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Nikki. And if I could get a second. That was a nice sound. I'll take that as a second. Okay, we can revisit that portion of it right here. Going to move into our third topic here on our public comments, and I'm not sure if we had anything that was online that we received any notices or emails from anybody there, and that would be Gershom or Zuli or any one of our staff there at the COC.
So we did not receive any requests through emails.
Okay, at this time, we'll entertain any public comments from those of you that are with us today. Feel free to share. Okay, if not, we're going to move into our old business portion, number 4, talking about our the reminder for our in-person hybrid Yak Yap meeting, which is coming up on November 21st, where we'll be meeting live as well as online. Going to be hosted at Olive Crest and Riverside. So we just kind of want to put that reminder out there to it. Outside of that, if there were any comments, questions on that for this in-person meeting, it's always good to get together and see each other face to face rather than electronically here on our Teams meeting. But again, it'll be a good time at Olive Crest and Riverside on the 21st. With that, moving on to, if we have Mar with us this morning, she's going to share a little bit about our Youth Homeless Demonstration Program, our YHDP updates, if we have anything new in that world, Mar.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning, everyone. If we can go to the next slide, I have 3 updates for everyone. So the first thing is that on October 3rd, we went to the board to approve our updated budget. The primary changes were due to technical reasons. So all of the budget, or a majority of the budgets, were increased, but for the most part, haven't changed in terms of like the services they'll offer or anything. So we still have our 2 joint projects, our 2 transitional housing projects, our 1 permanent supportive housing project, and then our 2 supportive services projects. And then on the bottom left, the second update is that we are now in our sub-recipient agreements phase. All of our agreements between the county and the HUD have been approved. And we're waiting on updates for when the funding will be released. So if I have any subrecipients online, so anyone listed in that table above, please send me your point of contacts. I did reach out to everyone. If I didn't reach out to you, it's because I already know your team and we've been working closely together. But we just want to make sure that when those agreements are ready, we have all the contacts needed who are going to review and sign off on those. And then finally, on the right side, my last update is just to review the timeline because, I mean, it's been a year of just YHDP and CCP and everything. So I wanted to give everyone a rundown of where we've been, where we are now, and what's to come. So I'll just go down through the timeline. We submitted our application last year in June. Again, this was a community-wide effort. If you all remember, Monique led this. And then we heard back from HUD in September 2023, we were awarded 7.4 million. And then from October through December of last year, it was a lot of just internal training with HUD. We got to meet our HUD TA team and really just prep for the CCP. And then we started off 2024 at CFLC with community planning. A lot of y'all attended in Hemet. And we began CCP. And then that was finally approved in May. So that was a very long 5-month process, but it was the foundation of what we're utilizing this funding for. So it was really important. Then from May through July, we were in our RFP process or phase. And through that, we received 11 applications and awarded 7 projects, which are the 7 projects you see on the left. And then most recently, from August through September, we were reviewing the projects with HUD. We went into agreements with them, and now that that's done, we're on the last day of October, actually. And so we're transitioning into that subrecipient agreement phase. Hopefully, if everything runs smoothly, those will be done by the end of November, beginning December. And then we can begin trainings and just implementing the projects, making sure that they're stood up and they're ready to go. So hopefully by March of next year, everything will be finalized. But along the way, we'll keep y'all updated and of course, make sure that our YAB voice is being heard throughout every step. And that's pretty much it. That was a lot, so I'll take any questions if there are any.
I just want to comment. I mean, we look at that $7.4 million, that's a big number. And then you see it broken out between those 7 agencies that are going to be help, our young people move forward and help them meet the challenges that they face. There's a lot of money up there, a lot of money. You look at most of them, 5 of them at, over $1 million, and then 2 of them at, 433 and 469. That's a big chunk of change. It's going to go a long way. Not something that I think we're going to get spent out in, overnight. So has been a long process, but I just want to thank everybody for joining us and helping us navigate this and your valuable input to get to this point we're at right now. And thank you, Mar.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg. There aren't any questions. I'll pass it back to y'all, but I will drop my email in the chat for anyone that has questions that come up later.
Thank you. So moving into the next category, new business, we do have a couple of presentations. This morning we have Victoria, the CEO and founder of Building Resilience Together, and then we're going to be following up with Ernesto on Kindful Restoration. So I'd like to invite Victoria Yerkins, if I could, to the screen to have her give us some exciting information about her organization.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Victoria Yerkins. I'm going to be presenting today for Building Resilience Together, one youth at a time. I am the founder and CEO of the organization. Thank you. So a little bit about myself. I spent 17 years in the foster care system. So I have experienced all the inequalities from being forced into foster care. I was bounced around throughout my journey so much that my reading level when starting college was equivalent to a 3rd grader. This is a picture of me and my sister when we entered care. I was 1 year old and she was 3. We entered care because my mom was being sentenced to 5 years in juvenile hall. She had just turned 16 when she had me, and she had just turned 14 when she had my older sister. We were placed with my great grandma first, but social services didn't agree with her not taking us to the doctors when we got sick. She was indigenous and believed in natural medicines before, any other kind of medication. So Because of that, we entered our journey through foster care. One of our very first placements, we were abused in many ways, and CPS had to step into our foster home. And actually, one of my sister's teachers noticed bruises on my sister, so she was removed first. And then a few days later, I got to go with my sister. We ended up getting separated between the ages of 6 and 7, I believe I was. So I spent 16 active years in foster care, and I was in 15 different placements. A lot of them were group homes. Once I turned, I think it was 12, I was in a lot of group homes. I was, provided medication without seeing a doctor at some of these places. And yeah, it's just a lot of the challenges that, being in foster care experience, all of these things. So once I aged out, I kind of gave up. I knew I had a dream. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to do something with my life. I had all these hopes, and I had no guidance and no, really no one to be there to support me. So I didn't get the opportunity to go to college until I was 30. And so I missed out on all of the resources available to foster youth until you're 26. And that was challenging for me because I knew I deserved an opportunity to go to school and just be helped along the way. I ended up registering at Norco College, and I started there in 2015. And I went to night school to get my GED at the same time. I don't recommend it, don't try it. It was extremely challenging, and I ended up graduating from Norco College in 2019. Thank you. While I was at Norco College, I was connected to several people that really helped guide me. They inspired hope. They just provided so many resources despite my age, and I was very fortunate to have met them. I was in charge of, designing their Phoenix Scholars Program. I helped shape it into what it is today. And I feel really honored that I was given that opportunity, because with that came so much opportunities for me. Even though I graduated, they still allowed me to stay. They offered me a part-time position while I continued my education. And, I put on, at Foster Care Awareness Month, we put on a lot of events. And one event we hosted, we had the news there. It was giving voice to the voiceless, and all of our former foster youth got involved. We got them t-shirts to kind of highlight, something that they experienced while in foster care. There's pictures of us somewhere. I don't know if it was in the newspaper or on the news, but it was of us, with tapes on our mouth that kind of showed, that you can't silence, foster youth. And what else? I graduated from the University of Riverside with a bachelor's degree in 2021. And then I kept going. I went into the master's program at CBU. I have a master's in social work. And now I am currently in my doctoral of social work program at CBU. So I'm class of 2026. So super exciting. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Some of my presentations and spotlights. So I've spoken at many events. I've done voices, giving voice to those with lived experience in 2023, providing hope to foster and homeless youth in 2022. I've spoken on a panel at RCOE for Foster and Homeless Youth Services Summit in 2019. I've spoken at Moreno Valley Empowering Me, Empowering You Conference, The Power of Your Story in 2019. I was a keynote speaker in 2019 for Thrive. And I also put a presentation together for Norco High School Step Up to the Future in 2017. I'm also a published author. I published my first book called Lost in the System. It's a bio in the mind of a child growing up in foster care. It kind of just unpacks some of the things I had to experience while in foster care. And then in 2023, I published my first children's book called Our Journey. And it's guiding youth in care and kind of inspiring hope. I'm currently working on my third book called Reimagine Being Lost in the System, because now that I'm educated and in this different mindset, I have to kind of reimagine what the experiences that I've gone through while being in the foster care system really did for me, and how much I need to reimagine all of those challenging experiences. So go ahead and go to the next slide. This is our mission. So at Building Resilience Together, we are dedicated to guiding young adults emerging from the foster care system towards a future filled with hope and opportunity. We empower them to transcend their past through support, advocacy, and transformative education. We offer holistic services, including housing. The housing component is coming soon, so stay tuned for that one. And then trauma-focused care, employment placement, higher education connections, and wraparound services. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Our vision is that at Building Resilience Together, our mission is to cultivate a world where every young adult exiting the foster care system steps into a future rich with promise and opportunity. We envision a society where resilience is nurtured, dreams are realized, and individuals are empowered to thrive beyond their past challenges. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So some of the services that we offer are mentoring. Mentoring is an excellent way for youth to find community and not have to feel alone. Mentors will provide guidance and support to youth transitioning into adulthood. We also offer workshops. These workshops will be organized in a monthly series that unpack each other, and they will allow youth to remain engaged on topics that benefit their resilience. And then the housing piece is still loading, but we also offer individualized support. So if a youth just needs assistance with advocacy, then, we are more than willing to go with the youth, to help with whatever their needs may be. Go ahead to the next slide. This is a list of our workshops, of our current workshops. We've already done one for Norco College last week. And these are offered to the community as well. If you're interested in a workshop, you could just go on our website and send me a message, and I will we'll get connected that way. And then next slide. So this is a list of the workshops that are going to be offered to the mentors and then the housing. So with the mentor workshops, these are where the mentor and the youth go to kind of like outings. So there's a grocery shopping workshop where the youth and the mentor both, take a trip to the grocery store. We plan out a budget for what you can spend for the week. You got to stay within that budget. The mentor helps the youth, save money. Let's look at the ad. Let's look at what's on sale. Just to kind of help them stay within their budget. We also have the career day and the community service day. Both the mentor and the mentee do those together, and it helps build this rapport between the both of them. The housing workshop list is only available to the youth that will be in the housing. And this is because some of these topics might mention something that triggers the youth. So we want to make sure that they are in a safe space, and we will be having a licensed specialist at these workshops in case any of them are triggered by anything that is said. And then the small little list to the right is only going to be offered at the housing also, because there's a lot of material that goes along with those workshops. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So housing at a glance, this part is coming soon, but I did want to mention that Building Resilience Together wants to help to end the foster care to homelessness pipeline. Sneak peek, this is my dissertation topic, so I just wanted to throw that in there. Next slide, please. The structure for the program is, it's a 3-year program. Youth can remain in the program for up to 3 consecutive years, ages 18 to 30. We are going to be teaching youth that to become resilient, we need to focus on stability first. There's a focus on the mind-body connection. Upon signing the lease, youth will be given a welcome basket, and it's just a gift card, and they go with their mentor to Walmart or Target, and they get to pick out things that they're going to need for their unit. So whether that's comforter, blanket, pots and pans, anything that the youth doesn't have already. If it's hygiene, then that will get put in the basket. But it's basically they get to go on a little shopping spree with their mentor, and it helps build that rapport also. Youth will attend monthly workshops, and there's weekly discussions also, where we just kind of get together. There will be meals provided, and we just kind of talk about the week. We talk about different things that we're struggling with together as a community. And then youth will work with the mentor/director on a program plan. At the end of the program, youth will be assisted with a soft landing transition out of the program. So we're going to make sure that this youth gets to a permanent placement when they exit, and it's a good fit for them financially, and just to make sure they're not going to be homeless moving forward. They will be connected to resources that help them with furniture, mental health when they exit the program, if that is something that they also need. Youth will still be invited to attend the weekly discussions and monthly workshops. Youth will still be able to contact the program if they need additional support. So say they exited the program 3 years ago, and now they encounter something in their life that they're not, sure of. Our organization wants to make sure that we keep those doors open to where they can come to us if they need guidance, just someone to talk to, or need support in some way. We want to make sure that we'll always be available to the youth. Next slide. Oh, and that's it. So this is my contact information at the bottom. I think the slides are available on the Google Drive, and feel free to contact me if you have questions. I'm here.
Excellent presentation. Thank you, Victoria. This is some very refreshing news. Many of us are working with youth in the foster care system or in STRTP programs, or guardianship programs and things like that. So anytime that we can be presented with solutions from after, when the age out comes into play, this is just some fantastic news. I know I've got some future questions coming down the pipe to you, but I've got your contact information now, email address and phone number, and I can share that with our agency, with that department, at least for California Family Life Center. So that's some very fantastic news. Anybody else have any questions out there, comments for Victoria?
So I do. Hi, Victoria. Good morning. I just to clarify, some of the workshops that you have to offer, are those going to be like, can those be like virtual, or are you like mobile, or how does it work?
I can do mobile, or I did my first one for Norco College that was virtual, that it went pretty well. I do encourage it to be in person though, because it gets the youth out of their, here in this virtual space, we can turn our cameras off and just stay in the background and multitask. They're going to get more if it's in person, but I am available to remote. I just don't recommend the remote.
Perfect. Good to know. And then I believe there's a question in the chat from Sandy Hire, says, how is this different than THP programs and services?
That's a good question. It's not. I don't want to. It's a housing program. Go ahead, Nikki, you unmuted.
Yeah, Victoria, just to kind of clarify that, are you going to get licensed and contracted with the county for payments through them, or are you going to be doing this on your own? That would be kind of the difference.
Okay, so yeah, we did attend orientation. That's what our holdback is we're going to get licensed, but we're also going to offer it for up to age 30. So those are not going to be, so we're going to take FYI vouchers, SILP, THP, and then if you're over the age of 26, you have to be employed and be able to, we're going to have a open type funding.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're going to do the THP and MD like a lot of us, but then you're going to expand and serve a lot of additional resources as well.
Yes.
Perfect. That's amazing.
And you're like a lot of us too. You're here in the state of California, and we're all struggling right now, especially from the the fiscal side of it when it comes to our insurances and coverages and all that kind of stuff. That's going to be quite the navigate. We've been attending a lot of different workshops with some of our representatives in that industry to help us navigate so that we can figure out how we can continue to offer the services that we do. So, and I'm sure you may struggle with that as well. So we also have somebody else with a hand up, but I can't see them.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sandy from Heritage. And Victoria, I love your presentation. And it does sound like you're applying for the THP NMD program. And so a lot of the challenge is the funding under THP and SILP and FYI vouchers. They kind of end at 26. So from your 26 to 30 population, are you self-funding that? Because we're doing the same thing you're doing, but we're relying on grants. Once the youth hit 26 to 30 and even beyond, it's private funding for all of that. So I'm just wondering if you're doing the same from 26 to 30, or if there's some program that funds that, because it's much needed.
Yeah, so we're going to do private funding. Yeah, we're going to do private funding but the youth will be required to pay towards their emancipation funds for when they exit the program. So they'll need to be employed after 26 to be able to cover that portion. Go ahead, Nikki.
Okay, so I'm curious, where do you have locations selected yet where you're going to provide this housing?
Corona.
Corona. Okay.
If there's no other questions, I want to thank Victoria for sharing with us this morning. This is some really good news. It's definitely solutions that we need to be presenting to our young folks that are out there. There are many of them, that is for sure. With that, and again, I haven't seen Ernesto in the chat yet, but has anybody been able to check in with Ernesto from Kindful Restoration?
Sorry to cut you off, Greg. I believe we have another question from Kimberly Thomas.
Oh, okay. Kimberly.
Well, first off, I just want to say I've known Victoria for many years as part of the Norco College Phoenix Scholars team. Her advocacy at Norco College really was exceptional, and she started our program way before there was funding. So it really is joyful to see how she has been able to move into this arena and to be able to help other young people. And that's all I wanted to say is just I'm so happy to see her thriving and doing all the things to give back to the community, but moreover as an example of what can be accomplished when you continue to pursue your dreams. So congratulations to Victoria.
Oh, thank you, Kim. It's good to hear from you.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Anybody else out there? All right. Well, again, thank you, Victoria. And if since I don't see in the chat, and I'm not sure if Ernesto Rodriguez is with us right now, have we been able to identify?
Yes, he's with us.
All right, fantastic. So we got a presentation from Kindful Restoration.
Okay, yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My computer was going in and out right now, so I got a little nervous. I was starting to log in through with another computer, but then everything came back, so that's good. Yeah. So yeah. I guess I'll follow suit and I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Ernesto Rodriguez, co-executive director, co-founder of Kindful Restoration, which is a grassroots community-based organization here in Riverside. And we're a really small organization, but with big hearts and doing big work. You know, our mission, we primarily work with or our bread and butter has been working with incarcerated individuals, adult individuals. And that's how we started off. And it started off that way because I myself was incarcerated for 24 years, actually. I've been home a little bit over a year, and amazing things has happened thus far. And so I'm going to share my screen, and then I'll share a little bit about myself before I get started. But I just kind of wanted to talk about that because it will, you know, put a spotlight on what Kindful Restoration is. I have a mentor who's also our fiscal sponsor, the president of the Kinder Foundation, and he mentored me in the worst kind of situation. I was incarcerated in solitary confinement for 8 years, and he poured love, kindness into me, and that's when, you know, everything changed for me. Having a ray of hope when you have no hope is the difference maker. And when you have somebody that comes into your life and shows you something different through that process, something, you know, that I didn't really have too much of experience with, which is somebody caring. It just helped me believe in myself and say, you know what, I am more than, you know, my incarceration. I am more than my addiction. I am more than the trauma that I experienced in my youth. And that hope turned into a beacon of light that grew into being a guidance for many others. And that's what Kind for Restoration is, giving back what was given to me through that process. So let me share my screen now. Screen. Okay. So can everyone see my screen? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Kind for Restoration, like I was saying, it started off as a incarcerated program for adults. The program started while I was still incarcerated, and it grew immensely. And we're in every CDCR facility now. We do in-person and correspondence, and it there's a lot of people that are coming home, which is the Kind for Restoration, our in prison program has 3 pillars. It has foundational groups or change groups, and then people can choose to become mentor leaders, and then they're able to go into the last pillar, which is career development. So that's how I started. And I'll click the next slide. So it's a structured program that helps people that are incarcerated, figure out that they're more than their incarceration, they're more than their trauma, they're more than the things that led them to be in that situation in the first place. And it does lead to leadership training and certification, career development, as I explained. And something that happened a little bit over a year ago when I came home, which the reentry portion of our program model. Kind for Restoration does have reentry for both adults and youth now in Riverside and San Bernardino. We also offer enhanced care management and CHW services and a lot more for our reentry program. And as I was explaining, Kind for Restoration, the incarcerated programs, it's Pillar 1 has the Mindful Kindness program, the Insight Development program, the Domestic Violence program, and electronic contraband. A lot of people say, well, what electronic contraband? So it's something that happens in there. It's almost like they're still struggling when they're accessing electronic devices that are not approved, and so basically giving themselves a permission to bend or break the rules. And we don't want that to continue before they come home, because a lot of times if you still have that residue of underlying factors that led you into incarceration in the first place, the chances of recidivism usually are higher than people that address those underlying factors. And pillar 2, as I was discussing, is a leadership training. What happens then is that people that go through the pillar 1 can now say, okay, I want to facilitate one of the foundational programs or the change programs. And part of that process, if they go through a 12-week program, a leadership program, and then choose to facilitate one of the pillar 1 programs as a practicum to be able to meet that criteria to become a peer mentor leader, which will then move over to pillar 3. And Kind for Restoration is now in the process of providing the Medi-Cal peer support specialist certification training for people that are still incarcerated now. And what does that mean? That usually people that go through the change process usually want to end up in the field. A lot of people that go through the change process end up in, jobs that pay the bills, construction, welding, whatever it is that make ends meet. But the passion is there to do meaningful work, and it's usually counseling, SUD counseling, mentoring, in the field of reentry. So we provide that avenue to get ahead of the curveball, so to speak, so they have that career pathway of meaningful work. And then our restorative reentry services, as I was saying, we provide all of our reentry services or outpatient services for adults and youth in the community. I always say that we provide 80% Riverside and 20% San Bernardino. That's usually the ratio that we have. And a lot of the programs that we have in our outpatient model is alcohol and drug counseling, mindful kindness, domestic violence, anger management, life skills, parenting classes, 12-step programs, financial literacy, digital literacy, job placement, continuing recovery planning, gang diversion, we're culturally relevant, um, oops, um, mentoring, coaching, mental health. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing in Kind for Restoration, and we're bilingual, so that is always helpful. Um, so again, I want to emphasize that even though we're doing all of this work and we have big credentials at Kind for Restoration, we stay rooted to our grassroots approach. What does that mean? It means that we don't have a rubber stamp approach that we say, okay, this is the assessment results and this is the program that you fit into, and let's go through that process. No, we sit down with the people that we work with, whether it's a youth or an adult, and we also connect with the family, because a lot of times some of those issues we have found that are present in a youth's life or an adult life, usually it comes from the home a lot of times. And so, for example, we're working with one youth, and there's a parent that is thinking about, you know, not bringing the youth in as much. The youth comes in 3 times a week, and she's just not seeing immediate results. She is stressed over housing and a bunch of other stuff because he's not Medi-Cal approved. And if he was Medi-Cal approved, then she would qualify for housing that would improve their financial situation and so forth. And so we said, okay, well, we are hearing a problem. What is a solution? So right now we're in the process of getting that youth approved for Medi-Cal, because he's currently a ward of the state. So if he's a youth or any person is a ward of the state, then they're going to qualify for Medi-Cal. She didn't know that, and so she's really happy. So I think she's going to continue to bring the youth in. And he's been on probation for a very long time for his age. And the probation officer is like, we got to get him off probation, but he has to have clean tests. And so it's tricky because there's a lot going there, and at home, the father's not there. But what I'm saying is that's our approach. We listen. What is going on? And we get in there to see where we could be helpful so that we see success. And what does success mean is that youth has expressed that one of his goals is he wants to get into welding. He wants to be a welder. That's something that he, intrigues him. So we're trying to figure out how we can make that possible. But getting him to do clean tests is one of our main goals. But, listening to this youth and understanding what is going on is our grassroots approach. It's a lot of time that goes into it, but the passion and staff that is willing and big hearts are there. And we do have staff, volunteers, board members, advisors with diverse backgrounds, which means that we have minority, majority, male, female, lived experience. There's a lot of going on in Kind for Restoration where we're able to understand cultural diversity. This is some of our team members. Obviously, this has to be updated as well because we did hire a new person with Kind for Restoration. That's Kathleen, co-executive director and founder of Kind for Restoration, and that's me. I feel like that picture does me a little bit more justice. Hey, it's not Photoshop, but I mean, it's a good picture. That's Alyssa, and she's very open book. She's only 23 years old. Okay, let me say it again. She's only 23 years old. She's a high functioning autistic person, and she's very open about it because for her, um, communicating that says that, anything is possible if you work at it. She's our tech webmaster, all of the above. She single handedly runs all 34 facilities in CCR. She manages it. She automated everything. She's really good with technology. I learned a lot from her. She's just good with data, numbers, and that sort of thing. She creates dashboards, and she created a dashboard for us. We're like, whoa, we could probably share this with other CBOs. This could be a huge thing right here. She's just really good, and we value her a lot. And we have process groups at Kind for Restoration, and we're really happy to see all of the amazing things that Alyssa does. Ronald is our program director. He was incarcerated 20 years, was in solitary confinement for quite some years as well. Today, he's a KDC2 SUD counselor. He just got an award with CCAP, which is the major credentialing entity for SUD, CHW, and a bunch of other stuff, mental health. CCAP is very well known with DHCS, and he won an award with one of the 10 awardees for doing amazing work. So we're like, hey, we're putting that award in the entrance so that when people walk into our humble Adobe, we're very small, but we got big stuff going on. So that's Ronald. He's amazing. He's actually running group right now. He wears a lot of hats. He actually went to the Riverside Day Reporting Center. We're in the process of getting a small MOU with them to work with all their adult probationary people, clients. Michael is our CHW. Oops. He is amazing. He's actually opening his own residential place here in Riverside. He's going through the process. So he went from a full-time to volunteer. He's loves what we do, so he's involved. Even though he has a lot going on, he still shows up and helps. And then we have a new hire, which is Jude, who's also SUD CHW counselor. He's actually at the Day Reporting Center right now doing anger management for them. Today they started us off really quickly, and it's okay. Hey, we can fly the plane as we build it sometimes, so that's okay. This is our board, which is Doug Carnine and Linda Carnine. They're my mentors. They're father, mother figure. Our fiscal sponsors. They're the president of the Kinder Foundation. They do a lot of work with schools in Oregon and Florida. Amazing human beings, so down to earth. And I mean, a lot that is going on with us and in my life. Every time I meet with them or I go to Oregon to pay them a visit, I always humbly express my gratitude for what they did in my life. I'm always saying, hey, I'm always trying to give away what you guys gave to me. And that's where the passion comes from, a lot of it. This is Paul Solomon. He worked with sponsors for many, many years in Oregon, which is a reentry transitional housing that works with the homeless over there and people reentering from incarceration. He has a lived experience as well. We actually went back into an Oregon institution not too long ago where he did, I think, a couple of years, and it was just amazing going back to see his old cell and how far he came along in his career. He's in all kinds of boards, so we're appreciative that he accepted to be in ours. Martha Michelle is has banking background, so she helps us a lot. She's an amazing human being. We're actually going to go trick-or-treating with her kids today, so that's going to be great. Richard Morales is co-founder, and director of CROP, which is one of the very few organizations that has direct fiscal funding with the state. They get allocated into the fiscal budget. I don't know. I'm always asking them, how'd you guys do that? And CROP they're in the Bay Area and LA area, so they're doing amazing work. Jerry Silbert has been in the educational field for all of his career. He, when you see him, he moves a little slow. He's up there in age, but he's sharp. Probably one of the sharpest people I know. And anytime I have something going on, I share it with them, and he just does magic with it. People can get involved with Kind for Restoration. There's a lot of activities that we're doing. People can come in and volunteer to process mail, public events, mentoring. Currently, we have a platform that is going live on Monday where youth and adults, and obviously it's spaces, so everyone will have their own space. The youth will have their own space, the adults will have their own space. We will even have space for our board, for our staff, and nobody can intermingle. Part of the DHCS certification is making sure we have policy and procedures so that our adult clients and our youth clients never intermingle. So that's really, really important. And what that means is that we'll be able to mentor the youth 24/7 in this space, even if we're not working with them at our office or, wherever it is that we're reaching out. When you're working with the youth, the attention span can sometimes jump from one thing to the next very quickly, and you have to be on them in a loving way. A lot. For example, I have one youth. I love what the choices he's making. He has tattoos on his face. We're in the process of getting those removed. He wants to be a firefighter, and he recently bought a car and he doesn't have a license or insurance. So, he calls it his whip, and he is always eager. He wants to ride his whip, drive his whip, and we're like, no, you got to get your driver license first, and insurance and all that stuff. So, being able to have that space and talk about those impulsivity moments that do occur with the youth at times, I feel like will improve our outcomes and the support that we're providing, because we will be connected 24/7 at any time of the day. Our counselors will be available there. I know we have lives, but having that platform will just make communication and accessibility more fluid between the people that we work with. So that's important. Engagement and community events. Kind for Restoration shows up everywhere. That's our biggest strategy. And I know Nikki is on call. We see Nikki all the time at different things. So we just show up everywhere. We never know where we'll be useful or who will meet. So, whether we're in Sacramento advocating, or we're meeting the mayor at an event, or, we're in Oregon, at partners opening of a transitional housing, or, doing a PAC meeting, we show up, and I feel like when that reliability and that consistency is there, whether you are a youth or an adult transitioning back into our community, having people there consistently is what matters and the difference maker. So we show up. As I was saying, Kind for Restoration has an in-prison program model, our outpatient, and then partnerships. We do have contracts with people like Pair Teams, the MAP program for enhanced care management. We're in the process right now of doing ECM ourselves with CHW services, because we are a Medi-Cal approved community-based organization. And that's not a term that I throw around loosely, because that took a lot of work, a lot of 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. nights to make possible, so that we are able to not just be a Medi-Cal approved provider, but also get help with funding with Medi-Cal billing. If a person doesn't have Medi-Cal, we can help them apply for Medi-Cal, and not only will it help sustain the services and help us, but it will also help them, whoever we're working with, whether it's doctor's appointment, dentist appointment, mental health services. Medi-Cal helps with a lot of different things. So if a person does qualify for Medi-Cal, then we want to support that process. And this is kind of like our overview of our program model of how Kind for Restoration works. The ECM partnerships obviously will shift into being in-house. We actually got our first ECM referral, and I want to throw out there that we're in the process of getting contracted with Full Circle Health Network, which is basically Kaiser Permanente. And then yesterday we just had a meeting with IHP, so we're getting a small contract. We didn't get the big one I was hoping for, but hey, when you're working with IHP, the baby steps will lead to the bigger steps. So we're happy about that. And also Molina, which are the 3 MCPs in our region. So the yellow is our prison program, the white is our reentry program, and then the pink is our ECM CHW program. And before I move on, I want to say that the in-prison program, we just the other day, when was it? Tuesday, I had a interview with probation, and it's a 2-hour interview for the volunteer process to go into the youth facilities. So the in-prison program model got adjusted, meaning that we're still doing the Mindful Kindness program, the Insight program, not the electronic one. No, the Mindful Kindness program, the domestic violence program, and the Insight and electronic is getting replaced by the gang disassociation awareness program that we have. And we're going to bring that program model inside the youth facilities to get ahead of the curveball before they are released, so that we can work with them pre-release and hopefully, work with them with the reentry process. Because even though you're a youth, we have found it that money is a big factor, job is a big factor, and and dealing with those stressors is a big factor. So we're Kind for Restoration will be an approved volunteer to do that work inside of the youth facilities to get ahead of the curveball and help them re-entering and being successful out here. So I just wanted to throw that out there because we're going through the process right now. And sources of sustainability, as I shared, support is always helpful, but we are Medi-Cal approved CBO, so we have Medi-Cal funding. We get private sponsorships. Like we said, we have a fiscal sponsor. We also go For grants, we actually applied for the big community-based one in Riverside that came out recently. So we're very hopeful and feel good about that bid that we put in. Contracting, we do have contracting. For example, in San Bernardino, we have a contract there of work that we do. So we get creative to make sure that Kind for Restoration provides free services to all of the clients and the members that walk in through those doors, or that we do telehealth with, because we do provide telehealth, which is virtual services. Some of our happy graduates, this is one example. Javier Baños, he currently works for Starting Over. He went through our programs while he was incarcerated. He's always willing to share when we have an event, or a testimonial of all of the help that Kind for Restoration did provide for him and his process and journey of living a better quality of life, and then doing meaningful work out here. So we have a lot of happy graduates and numbers that we can provide for. A lot of times outcome measures are important, so we have those. And how to get involved, I think we talked about it already. Anybody can get involved if people want to either volunteer or invite us to an event or something that is going on, or referrals or anything. Kind for Restoration loves to work with other people and other organizations. Conclusion, restorative justice, it takes a village, a community, to help our youth, to help our adults, to help our people with lived experience. I find it that if you have sometimes a background someplace, it's hard to get a job sometimes. And so if we work together to provide those resources so that our youth or adults can get better situations, and the services that we do need to, we all have stuff, not just because you are struggling with it. If you're struggling with addiction, mental health, or homelessness, or anything that's going on in our lives, we all have something going on. I go to counseling. I talk about my things, even though people see all these successes and all these things that are going on and in my life. Marriage happens, life happens, and so we all need to talk about ourselves so that we can work at having our best day every day. And we some days are challenging, and if we have someone to talk to work through that stuff, then the chances of us making a poor choice will significantly be reduced. And so working together, it does take a community. So I'm glad that we're all here connecting, and introducing and sharing, so that we don't see, if you drive through Magnolia and go towards Tyler, you'll see people on the street. If you go to downtown and drive through the streets, you'll see people on the street. And we all want to work together to reduce that and show people that there's a better quality of life. And how can we connect? There's a QR code. I think this is an old prison. I put this together and old means a couple of months, for us. But let me scan this QR code and see where it takes you. And it looks like it'll take you to, my phone's going. Yeah, it'll take you to our website. So in our website, either you could, go to the website with, the what is it, the website here. You could call us, or you could scan the QR code. Any which way you choose to touch bases with Kind for Restoration, we try to answer that call within 24 hours, because and this might be a grim example, but sometimes it is life and death. You know, when somebody is needing help, when somebody is reaching out, when somebody is making a referral connection, sometimes it can be life and death. I've seen it, you know, in the lived experience that I have. And so 24 hours answering that call is very important to us. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And I'll stop sharing the slide, I'll, before I conclude, I'll share again one more time, very briefly, what does that look like if you the website, right here. So if, oh, oh, okay, everything went dark for a second. If somebody does go to the website, they'll go to the home screen, but you can click on the reentry services. You know, if somebody wants to apply for anything of our services, they can click there and they'll be taken to the program application. You could refer someone or do a self referral. And obviously there's a bunch of other stuff that you can see, but that's how you're able to get somebody enrolled into the outpatient reentry services that Comfort Restoration does provide. So that'll conclude my presentation. And you know, and one thing on behalf of Comfort Restoration, we just thank you and we love you for doing this work.
Ernesto, thank you very much. Did anybody out there have any questions? I see some clapping. I just don't see any hands up just yet.
I believe we have 2 questions in the chat. The first one was, do they have to be part of your ECM team in order to receive services? From Kristen Malby.
No, they do not have to be an RCM. If you have, if your system impacted, you're homeless, or anything's going on, even if they don't have Medi-Cal, we call it our scholarship program. Every service that we have will be free for anybody that is wanting or needing help, whether your system impacted or just need help in general. So that's really important to us because we don't like turning people away for any, you know, sometimes you have to meet a criteria or have a qualification. We just want somebody to live their best possible life. So no, you don't have to be.
And
So
then,
you're, I'm sorry, go ahead, Gershom.
No, go ahead, Greg, sorry.
I was just going to say, there's multiple streams that are out there, and your guys' funding is again coming through specific grants and private support. And we manage multiple grants with Riverside County. We're in YTech every day, you know, in juvenile hall with a Metro grant, Second Chance grant, Hire grant. So there's a lot of other opportunities. But your agency sounds like if I've run into a block wall with something, I may be able to turn to you, give you guys a call and say, hey, you know, what kind of things can I do to get this person connected?
Yeah.
You have no restrictions on the eligibility portion?
No, if they have severe mental health, obviously we have partnerships that will help us with that. So I just want to throw that out there. But if there is something like that we're not able to provide, then we're going to make sure that they're connected to the right resource for that. And it's part of, you know, the DHCS certification process. We have to have referrals in place that make sure, like, for example, if somebody walks through our doors, we can't just say, oh, well, we can't help you. Well, good luck with that. You know, we wouldn't get the DHCS certification with that approach. So we have referrals in place that will make sure that if we can't do it, then they're going to get connected with the right resource to be able to do it. And severe mental health is one of those that we're not able to do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ernesto.
You're welcome.
And then we have one more question in the chat by Kimberly Thomas. The question is, what is the service area?
It is in Riverside. It's on Magnolia and what is that street? Well, the closest one is Madison. So it's like in between Tyler and downtown. And we do outsource, meaning right now we go to the San Bernardino to do anger management in the MAC program, and then we're going to the day reporting center and probation here in Riverside. So meaning we could go somewhere and do work if necessary. So and then I always say 80% 20 Riverside, 20% San Bernardino because of that contract and the work that we do in San Bernardino. So we do, we're a small staff, but we make it happen. Yeah.
We got Teresa's hand up.
Hi, Ernesto. Good to see you. Quick question. It sounds like you got your your Medi-Cal certification. And so
Yep.
now if probation is taking your anger management classes and providing them to clients, so then that means that you will be able to provide documentation for court mandated services for our youth, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Are you offering like anger management or substance abuse like online, or is it just in person?
No, so we do telehealth. We have some youth that are in Cabazon, in the desert, and they're not able, to come in. So we do telehealth, and the way we're doing it now is that we set up the Zoom
Mhm.
with the group, so they'll be interacting with the group in person. That we find it that it, it's a better setup there because they're able to interact with more people and then in a group setting. So we do provide telehealth.
Okay. Thank you.
And then the court thing, we actually provided a letter for a youth recently, and it was helpful. I think they approved, what was it? See, he got the 52-week domestic violence, and you're supposed to do that once a week, but the court said a lot because of that letter of in the progress, they're allowing them to do 3 a week. I'm like, man, I don't know about that part, but hey, if the judge is asking for that, then I guess we accommodate it. So yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Nikki's got her hand up.
Yeah, I just want to thank Ernesto. I just do kind of want to point out that during our YHDP grant writing, it was the youth who expressed the lack of resources and the additional struggles when our young adults are coming justice impacted. So I thought Ernesto would be a great resource for us. He has even stepped in and he knows a lot of people. He helped one of my justice impacted youth find employment because his charge was struggling with that. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to Ernesto and stuff. He's got like this hidden network under here and a lot of contacts. So I think he's a good resource for a lot of us in our programs.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that. I recently got elected for District 1 representative on the JJCC. And then I was informed yesterday that I got put on the CBO Alliance board. So I mean, like I said, we're really small, but we show up, and that consistency. And many of you probably have heard of Ramon Ramos out here in Riverside, and what did he say yesterday? He said, I'm the hardest working man in Riverside. That I don't know if that's true, but that it's just the energy that goes into the work that we do.
Again, thank you, Ernesto, for your presentation and answering these questions. They are all very, very important to the work that we're all doing. So that's for sure. Any other questions? I don't see any other hands. Good deal. Again, thank you very much. We're going to move on to part C of number 5, our youth and point time count. Gersham's going to give us a heads up and an update as to what's going on there. I know we just had our first training meeting Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, my days just keep running, but Gershom, take it away.
Thank you, Greg, and good morning, everyone. You are correct. So we did have our first community planning meeting this past Tuesday. So if you did join in on that meeting, thank you very much. And we'll keep you updated with all the details. I believe the recording is up already, so we can send that out to our network after this meeting as well. So if you are just joining us for the first time this time around, I just wanted to throw out that we have started the planning for the pit count, and pit count is set to take place on Wednesday, January 22nd. And it will be a service-based count. And so our team, we will be targeting hotspots such as like gyms, public libraries, parks, malls, and schools and college campuses as well. And we want to focus on the More Than a Count initiative. And so for that day, we do plan on having a total of 35 deployment sites, and with the goal the goal is to establish one deployment site per city, and for the larger cities with a more extensive geographic area, we would our goal is to set up 2 deployment sites to ensure that there's better coverage for those cities. And so, like I said, we really want to focus on the More Than Account initiative, and that day we will be going the extra mile, and we want to ensure that any homeless youth that we do come across, we are getting them connected to housing or any other services that they do wish to receive. And the goal is to connect youth to transitional housing beds for that day. So we will be working on identifying all available beds per supervisorial district. And ultimately, we will be transporting youth through Uber services to those locations with transitional housing beds. So through Uber services or with already existing contracts that we have with other agencies that do provide transportation services. And then Mar, forgive me, am I missing anything else, or
You covered everything. I think the only thing I'd add is that we will be reaching out to YHDP subrecipients to see how we can use their centers and sites, beds, for the point in time count as well.
Thank you.
And Gershom, I had a question from our first meeting. Is it my understanding that this year's count for youth specifically is going to be a single day, just like the rest of the point in time count?
Yes, that is correct, Greg.
Okay.
But just to add to that, we'll have like a youth component of the general count, so one day, and then the service-based count as well, which will be over a span of multiple days.
And that's all I had for you folks today. Are there any other questions or any comments? All right. Taking it back over to you, Greg. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Gershom. We got our next item on the agency bed availability update. And I do know, at least I have Nikki. I've got a few of you that are out there. I don't have a prepared list, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Nikki to see what kind of space we have at Olive Crest.
Okay, right now in Olive Crest, I have one female vacancy in the desert location. Also, I put it out each month. I have the link to the vacancy list for every transitional housing program for non-minor dependents, the extended foster care. So if anybody needs that link, please let me know. Each agency is able to update their vacancies on their own in time. So I didn't see if Patrick or Michelle were on, but I will let them raise their hands if anybody else has bed availabilities.
We got Kathy from Llamas Housing Project. Kathy, go for it.
Oh, Kathy, you're muted yet.
Yeah, I know. I was just talking with Sonia the other day on Tuesday, and she had some exciting news that they got coming up on a project out here in the valley.
Kathy, if you're struggling to unmute, would you want to type it in the chat?
Well, we can circle back to Kathy if she happens to get that technical problem fixed up there. Anybody else out there sharing any information on bed availability? If not, the next item on our agenda is a short presentation from Savannah Brown. I did not see Savannah in the chat, but if she's out there, love to hear from her. If not, Chantel, if she's out there, our vice chair. If not, I might throw it to Gershom.
Yeah, so Savannah unfortunately cannot join us for the meeting today. So I promised her that I would cover the YAB updates on her behalf. So hello, everyone, once again. So a couple of YAB updates for you folks today. So last month we had our Youth Action Board retreat and CCP submission celebration. Yeah, members, they received a two-part training in the morning, and those trainings did consist of public speaking skills and interview skills. And so the YAB members did, put their skills to the test by actively participating in exercises that, were aimed at enhancing their public speaking skills. And some of the activities, if I may recall, I believe it was for public speaking, it was giving an elevator speech and as well as playing emotional charades. And additionally, during their interview skills training, they were given valuable insight on some of the do's and don'ts of when interviewing for a job. And some of those activities also consisted of just interviewing each other. They were all paired up, and they were each given a script, and they had to interview each other. So I would just like to state that even though our staff did coordinate these trainings, they were not our idea. The YAB members specifically requested this kind of support as part of their CCP mission, which is to enhance their professional development skills as well as foster stability. And these trainings, they also they align perfectly with their goal to create an environment where each and every one of them has the opportunity to thrive. So just a big kudos to our YAB members who took the initiative that day and step out of their comfort zones. I know that public speaking isn't easy when you're not when you're not used to it, and even myself, I still get nervous at times, but just being able to see them cheer each other on and create that atmosphere of mutual support and encouragement was really inspiring to see. So and as well, I also want to give a shout out to the staff over at Silence Out Loud for always allowing us to use their space for all of our YAB initiatives. So big shout out to Kanisha Jones and her staff. Lastly, for that day, YAB members did finish their day by creating vision boards for themselves, which was pretty amazing to see their creativity on display. And each of them at the end, they shared details about their vision board and how they will stay committed to achieving some of their goals. Additionally, I also want to add that YAB members have been actively joining workshops through Rise Above Defeat. So they have been providing sessions on financial literacy and mental health awareness. So I also want to give a shout out to Markia and her staff for providing these virtual and in-person sessions. And if any of you are interested in attending these meetings, please make sure to reach out to the Rise Above Defeat staff. I can drop their contact information in the chat afterwards. And then on the 17th of this month, the YAB members did participate at their first community resource event, which was hosted by Operation Safe House. And it was a successful event. YAB members really had the opportunity to engage with other, with members of the community. They handed out resources as well as candies to members of the community. And overall the event was just it was fun. YAB members did they did a great job with networking at other tables and participating with some of the activities that Operation Safe House had available. And then lastly, the YAB has created a new Instagram profile. So if you folks would like to give us a follow, I have included the handle on there. It's at Rivco COC YAB. They they want to make sure that we get this page up and running and active. So before we do, we definitely want more followers. So feel free to give us a follow. And then if you have any youth-related inquiries, please feel free to reach out to us at cocyouth@rivco.org. Or if you are a youth service provider who wishes to participate and present at one of our YAB meetings, which we hold every Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m., feel free to contact me. I have left my email down there as well. And so if you are interested in presenting anything related to youth professional development or just any other topic, really, feel free to reach out to myself. And then on this next slide, I just included a couple of pictures that we did take during our retreat and CCP submission. So here you see some of the YAB members working on their vision boards. And then this was the public speaking training that they had in the morning. And then lastly, this photo over here was our table at the Operation Safe House event that they participated at. But yeah, other than that, that is all I have for Youth Action Board updates. And I'll take it back over to you, Greg.
Thank you, Gershom. I see we got Joe Matthews, the celebrity, in one of those pictures there.
Yeah.
One of our he's actually running the youth program for the COC out of Riverside now with workforce development. So, and then of course there's a bunch of familiar faces that I see in this picture. It's always fun to be able to celebrate and have a good time. This is what it's all about with these young people. This is their committee. This is their lives. So anything that we can do to again help move these young people forward. But it looks like it was a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Definitely, yeah. And the youth, they were excited to find out that Joe is actually a professional wrestler too. So they want to see him.
Yes, he is.
They would like to see him, at one of his fights sometime. So
yeah, I'll have to shoot him emails and keep us updated because I've got to see him once in Beaumont on a street fair out there a couple years ago. But yeah,
that's awesome.
He's got a good crew, that's for sure.
Definitely.
All right. I know Kathy chimed in a little bit on our previous question about what's going on with the Llamas Housing Project. I did get to speak with Sonia a little bit about it. They're working on a new fourplex building out here in the Valley, again, to help provide some temporary housing assistance to youth and adults as well. So I think we may have Sonia either on a spotlight or a live presentation at our live meeting in November. I'm going to talk to her more about that fully the next time I get to see her, which should probably be first of next week. So a lot of stuff going on out in our communities all across the county, not just out in the desert or here in the Valley or downtown Riverside. There's a ton of stuff that's going on out there, especially as we approach the holiday season. That is for sure. Yeah, moving along. I don't know if I had seen Lucy. I looked for her earlier, but on the coordinated entry system, if we have any updates that they are able to provide. Oh, there's Lucy. Now I see her.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we have some CES numbers for youth for the month of September. So we had about 27 on the queue, which is an actual 10 drop from the month prior for August. So we connected about 9 of those youth to housing opportunities successfully through the coordinated entry system. And just some numbers based on the 27 that were on the queue, 17 of which were scoring rapid rehousing scoring and 10 were scoring PSH scoring. So that's what I have.
Good deal. It's always good to see the numbers go down.
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
we're coming up with the solutions, and I think the needs are they're definitely not being met all the way across the board. But when that first number on the community queue goes down, that's where we're starting with everybody when the youth are needing that assistance. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Moving on into our next item here, we have a member spotlight on high expectations, and it is Nakisha High, who is the president of High Expectations. So I'll turn it over to Nakisha.
Hello, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome.
So my name is Nakisha High with High Expectation Development Corporation, and we've been here since 2017. However, we just moved to Hemet and San Jacinto since 2019. Our slogan is Changing Lives Daily. Next slide. So our vision and mission statement is, I want to give an example of my, just my history. And I was homeless in 2007, and they didn't have a lot of resources. So this inspired me to actually bring resources to the homeless population in the community. And doing this, we learned that there was a lot of gaps in just being homeless. Like there was mental health needs, there were no income. And so we started to put these components together to structure a program. And working with the population for over 20 years now, we came up with the High Expectation Development Corporation. Our mission at the core is that we believe that everyone deserves an opportunity to live a stable, fulfilled life. Our vision is to empower individuals, the youth, and families by offering resources and support in the areas of housing, education, employment, and mental health. And we work tirelessly to create strong and resilient communities rooted in justice, equality, and mutual respect. Our mission is to eradicate homelessness and reduce poverty through our programs in community partnership, fostering environments where compassion and opportunity flourish in all. Last year, we provided assistance for over 3,456 individuals in need. Basically, our funding comes from donations in private organizations. And so this is what we do. You can go to the next slide. So these are a couple of components. I didn't put everything in here because there's a lot of different things that we do in order to help our youth. But the one is behavioral health support services, self-sufficiency workshops, homelessness, housing and facilities and supporting, leadership development through mentorship and apprenticeship. We have a food program, and we also employ and connect them to educational services. We'll go a little bit over some of these services in depth. I try to make it short so you can get the full insight of all of our programs and the things that we do on our website. It's very in depth, and it actually goes through one by one verbatim. You can go to the next slide. The main component for us even being at the COC in this aspect was because when we were doing our street outreach, we found a lot of youth out there that didn't have connection, didn't know about youth programs, didn't know that they had access to help. And so our street outreach team, and we put together, we started partnering with the COC, And we started partnering with California Life Center. California Life Center has been a very key component to our organization because not only does it help our consumers have employment, but these also help our consumers that don't need housing, but that just want a job or just want to go back to school. So this slide is about our homeless support, our housing support system. We provide safe and stable housing for those in need in the city of Hemet and San Jacinto. Affordable housing programs and access to low-cost housing options to help families get back on their feet. Transitional housing assistance and secure more permanent long-term housing solutions. So we work with our clients, our consumers on base to base. We do a goal plan to actually meet every need when they come into our housing. We actually have a 90-day goal plan. After the 90-day goal plan, we see what we accomplished in that 90 days. After we see what we accomplished and what we need to work on, we continue to work with them. And if we need more goals to be able to bring stability to them, we also continue that. The House of Manifestation in San Jacinto, we are currently seeking female candidates only, and we are open to applications for individuals with or without children. And we currently have 4 positions available. I want to just talk a little bit more about our house in San Jacinto because it's all youth, 18 to 24. It's young ladies who come from all walks of life. Basically, they all have different things that they've been through that got them into being in this environment. And so we address those things individually. You can go to the next slide. So this one will be about our outreach team and what our outreach team does. Our outreach team, we go out 2 days a week. We bring clothing, food, or daily essentials to the unhoused youth. The advantage of this is we follow them with our case management. We do an assessment right then and there. We see if we can help them with any needs or if they need anything in order to get off the streets right then and there. That's why we found that we needed a home for these women and the women with children, because we found out that there wasn't a lot of homes in the city of Hemet that would provide care for just female clients and females with children. And so we made that component available to the women where they can just come off the streets and go right into housing. We have case management with these individuals, and we connect with them and give them the available resources, the benefits they need in order to bring sustainability. Our whole thing is to support the needs and to rebuild their life to become more successful members of our community. I really have a place in my heart for stability. When we were out there on the streets, we didn't have stability, and not having stability mess up everything. If you're trying to go to school, if you're trying to get a job, and you don't know where you're going to, you don't know what friend you're going to, you don't know what house, who you're going to spend the night over, because a lot of young people, they go couch surfing. So they don't know, like, who am I going to go if I go to work? Who can I go to after that? Our main key component is to bring that stability, to give them a peace of mind so they'll be able to say, okay, I know where I'm going tonight. So now I can work on my career. I can work on my schooling. I can go to California Life Center. I can be around other people my age that's going through the same thing. And we also have support systems within our groups to have group time, where we bring people in from life coaching, Bible studies. We have mentors, and we also have apprenticeships to help them when they're in college. We bring all these resources to one place. Next slide, please. this was just a part of our organization, how we went out on homeless time count, and you see Greg there, and you see a lot of young people. We did that, and we're involved in everything about youth. You can go to the next slide, please. So I wanted to share a couple of stories about the success of our program. And these are short stories on the slide, but I want to actually read from one of our consumers, how she felt regarding being in our program. And I'll read that. It said, "Hi, my name is," and I do have her permission to share. She said, "Hi, my name is Micaiah Porter, foster former youth. The Rapid Rehousing Program helped me in many ways. It has been the perfect name for Rapid Rehousing because the team worked rapid, fast for my situation. I was in a situation where I had nowhere to go, lost my mother 4 months prior, wrecked my car, and spent all my money to help pay for my mother's funeral, and fixed my car. A mechanic fixed my car and basically scammed me. Eventually, I got my car fixed, drove to the office and explained my situation, and I asked for the help I needed. I broke down crying and explaining my situation because I was overwhelmed because too much had happened so unexpectedly, and I felt helpless. I then got the help I needed and was introduced to the Rapid Rehousing Program. I only been here for about 2 months. This was previously. And overall, they had already helped me get a job that I started in about 2 weeks. They helped me create a goal plan for the next 6 months. They provided me with a place to stay. And they even had a meditation class that helped me because I used to meditate in the past. Everyone in the house is nice, friendly, and supportive. It gave me a better outlook on life and faith in humanity again. Because before I felt alone and I felt I needed to do everything on my own. I didn't realize it was okay to ask for help. I appreciate Nicole, Nikisha, and Ms. Gross for helping me and providing me with the resources I needed to pull forward. That was one story, but we also have another one. And from then now to where she's at now, she's still working, and she upgraded her car, and she's still housed, and she's waiting on permanent placement. So I thank God for allowing us to have a home where these young women not only can bring stability to themselves, but they can prosper through this, and they can be encouraged that people are there to help support them to where they're going through. And though they've been through a system, we can change the system by providing housing that makes them feel that they're at home and that people do care for them. And another young lady had her daughter, and I'm not going to go to her story, but her story is on our website. But she is regaining custody, and because she had a permanent place to stay, she is able to now get her daughter back faster than she would have. And they were getting ready to close her case and give her daughter up for adoption in October, at the beginning of October of this month on the 3rd. And now she has a chance to get her daughter back. And I'm just so grateful that I see hope and I see progress from a whole year. These young people didn't have anything, and they only been in my program since May. So just imagine how many lives that can change. And these are only 2. But just imagine how people's lives can change when they have the proper support system as the COC is giving us now. We are giving them a support system to come out from where they are to place them to thrive. And I am so looking forward to the great outcome of this story. Next slide, please. My name is Nikisha. I'm with High Expectation. We do have available housing. You can send them our way. That is my email address. This is our website. Please take a look, show them. And if there's anything we can do to offer our assistance in any kind of way, we are free, we are open, and we are willing. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nikisha. Very, very much. Hey, I just kind of want to backtrack real quick before I kind of turn this over to Nikki. I actually got to see Sonia on screen right now. If you wanted to share a little bit about that project that you got working, that you're developing right now, real quick, we'll backtrack for just a minute.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Very good. So, Nikisha, outstanding. Wow. God bless you for all the good work you're doing. Are we talking about what I just shared with you, the fourplex? Yeah. Which one, right? Okay. No,
Yeah,
yes. So
the new
now,
fourplex.
so there is a off-market property. This actually involves Ms. Nikisha as well. So if I may, there's only so much we can, say right now, or we're working on finalizing some stuff. But yes, I was able to apply for the Bishop grant, and I got through the processes of the consultation. And right now we are in processes of gathering all of our data that needs to be delivered. But they did accept our application, and the application was for 1.2 million. It's for acquisition and programs, and I've extended the opportunity to Ms. Nikisha and her organization, or the organization, high expectation. So yes, very exciting times for us. Thank you.
More solutions. Thank you, Sonia.
Yeah. Oh, and may I say one more thing? Because I have to leave, guys, and I'm so sorry, but introduce Miss Kathy. I'm sure she already introduced herself, but we are hosting the Dia de los Muertos tomorrow, and you guys are all invited to come out and support the project, but most importantly, share your loved ones with those that are no longer. Okay? So thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you.
Any questions there for Miss High? No. Thank you. Wonderful member spotlight. Appreciate that very much. I'm going to turn it over to Nikki DeLong. She's going to take it away.
Hey, we don't have much left. We definitely would like to see if anybody has anything that they would like covered at the next meeting so that we can put that on the agenda. At this time, raise your hand, unmute yourself, type it in the chat, whatever you feel comfortable with. So we'll give you guys a minute to kind of see. Also during that time, it sounds like we've already started on announcements, but if there's anybody else besides Sonia that has any announcements, this is a great time. Please raise your hand and we can share the announcements. Okay, Zuli. Yes, Zuli, sorry.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to let you know that next month on the 20th, we are having an in-person COC meeting and you are all invited. We're going to be having some awards, and one of the award categories is a youth leader. So we would like all of you to fill out the form. I'll put the information in the chat. So that you all, right now we have nominations that are open. So if you would like to nominate an individual in that category, we encourage you all to do so. And then I believe 2 weeks after that, we will have a voting period so that you guys can all vote. And there's 2 other categories as well, but I wanted to highlight that one just because some of our COC members or BOG members, they don't really work closely with the youth as you all do. So you are more of an expert, or you would know or be able to nominate an individual. So I'll put that information on the chat and you are all welcome to join. And I'll also put the RSVP form as well. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great. I've already RSVP'd, so I hope to see everybody there. And then Renee, you had your hand raised as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Renee Punzalon. I am the Director of Youth Services here at the Transgender Health and Wellness Center, and I run our Marsha P. Johnson LGBTQ+ Youth Drop-In Center here in Palm Springs. And I wanted to announce the opening of our Healing Rainbows facility here in Palm Springs, which is our rapid rehousing facility. We do case managing as well as name and gender changes, anything legal that needs to be done. We're right across the Palm Springs City Council and Police Department. So any kind of resources that folks need. And this is, we're open to anybody. So we are a transit organization, so LGBTQ plus folks, but we do have non-identifying LGBT folks that are in our programs as well too. So we do rapid rehousing, we help with rent relief, we help house youth as well too. So please, if anybody needs any assistance out here in the Coachella Valley or resources, please, I'll put my email in chat and get you connected to our new facility. Thank you so much.
Great. Renee, do you have a flyer as well to promote that? Rapid rehousing?
I can include it too as well.
That'd be great. And if you email it to the Youth COC or Mar Gershom, they'll kind of help get it out to all of us, if you'd be willing to do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So no, thank you. That's great. Sharing the resources. So does anybody else have any announcements that they'd like to make? Okay, great. And so it looks like we are about ready to adjourn. Please do pay attention in the chat. Zuli put in the link for the nominations for the awards. So let's recognize our stars out there, guys. So go ahead, click on that. Maybe we could get that emailed out as well. And Gershom, I see you had your hand raised.
I'm sorry, did we ever get a second, by the way, to approve the minutes, Craig?
I did not hear anybody put the second out for it. I was going to mention that before she closed it out.
Hi, this is Kimberly Thomas. I second that motion.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Kimberly. Okay. So if there are no more announcements, I do hope to see everybody in person next month. I will do some baking, already started on some of it, so we'll have goodies. Thank you, Gershom. That just made me feel so happy that you just did that.
Hey, as long as it's got chocolate and peanut butter, yeah.
I just felt so loved, Gershom. So okay.
You know, it's the guilty month because it's November.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you can all do this and just feel as guilty as you want.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. It is 11:53, so we will call the meeting adjourned. You all have 7 minutes back. So
thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nikki, can you stay on for a bit? And
Will do. Renee, go ahead and visit if you need to.